So I stepped to him like, look, bro, you need to step away from my girl. Don't be harassing her. She don't want to have nothing to do with you. Plain and simple. He looked at me like, who is you, chump? We exchanged some words. I had to let him know who I am. You know, one of his boys recognized me. One of his boys recognized me from the newspaper. Say, oh, it's that boxer dude. And he's like, oh, you think you can fight? Nigga, well, let's get it in. I was like, man, I ain't about to fight up here in this mall. Well, I think he recognized me from the newspaper, but I did a lot of running through the cities, the streets of Chicago, getting in shape, do a lot of road work, so he probably seen me. One thing led to another. It was almost went to blows. She wanted both of us to leave, so he left and I left, and I later apologized to her. Still dealing with shit at home. Dad bringing his crackhead friends back over. Butch called me and said, I got to fight now. So I was like, wow, that was tight. So I ended up having a fight that weekend, beat up this dude, beat him up pretty bad, and got an envelope at the end of the fight. It had $100 in it. Of course, Butch took 25 of it, but it was all good. So I ended up having $75 for an amateur fight. It was kind of tight. So I had a few more fights, and it came to the point where the other trainers was begging me and Butch for me not to beat their dudes up so bad. Abaya and I is back talking again, and we made it official at the lakefront. We was holding hands, and she told me that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Abaya was honest with me, and she told me that she was a virgin. She never had sex before. We really never made out. We kissed a little bit, but that was it. Abaya told me Ron used to push himself on her all the time, and she left him because he was too aggressive and wanted to have sex with her, and she wasn't ready for that. Abaya told me she respected me because I respected her mind and her wishes, and I never really came at her for sex. Well, one of the reasons I never came at her for sex because I'm training and I'm fighting, and I didn't want to, I'm hearing the stories about boxing and sex, so I didn't want to lose a fight. And the main reason I respected her mind too, to show I was different than the other dudes, so that's the reason why I didn't want to have sex with her, like right off the rip. Won a few more fights, but there was like pulling teeth trying to get those fights. Then after that, I went back on another long lull to try to get a fight. My record around this time is 38-1. Abaya and I, we're doing good, and my dad took out a second mortgage to save the house. Butch let me know that we had a fight in Indiana and in a small town outside of Cleveland, and we went out there and cleaned up as well. Then I had nobody to fight again. Nobody wanted to fight me in Indiana. Nobody wanted to fight me in Ohio. So back on this long lull again. Butch would tell me that people was inquiring about me being under their camp, and he warned me not to go leave him to another trainer. Abaya was acting strange one day, and I asked her what's wrong, and she didn't want to tell me because she knew that I would be mad, but I told her to tell me anyway. She told me Ron met her at the job after she got off, forced her in the car, and he forced himself on her and touched her in places that she didn't want to be touched. Of course, I was highly pissed at hearing this news, and I had to do something. I had to take action accordingly. So the next day I went looking for him. Me, my cousin, and two of my homeboys. We went looking for him. He was at this little candy store with a little small arcade and pinball machines in it, off of 70-something in Halsted. So I went there and I stepped to him. He was shocked to see me. So I was like, man, step outside. I need to holler at you. He's like, well, we need to talk about, like, look, man, we need to holler right now. You need to step outside. So we did. My cousin and my homeboy was inside with his boys while Ron and I were outside, and my other homeboy was outside too. And I didn't even let him have a chance to say anything. I just started beating the shit out of him. I couldn't take it. And like, you messing around with my girls, so I had to beat the hell out of him. I beat his ass so bad, my homeboy had to pull me off him, and then told me to go. So I looked at him, I spit on him, and I bounced. Spoke with Abaya that night and told her that you shouldn't have no more problems with him bothering you again. And she asked me what I do. I said I just beat him up. She was like, Abaya was mad just a little bit. She said I opened up a can of worms because of his boys, but I told her I'm not worried about them. Then I told her I loved her, and Abaya told me ditto afterwards. She never told me I loved you back, and I told her I love her a few times, but she never told me I love you back. Abaya's planning on going to college. I think she wants to go to Wisconsin or Northwestern, but I told her I'll be with her along the way. I'm training, keeping in shape, hoping I can get a fight soon, but no fights. So I just hang with Abaya. Again, Abaya and I talking on phones, planning our future. She said she could see me as a world champion. She's proud of my boxing career. Abaya had quoted me the name Delete the Warrior, and she put the glitter name onto my black trunks. My father and I got into an extreme argument because Felicia had got a bunch of crack from me and said my father was going to pay me, which he knew nothing of it. I needed my money. Felicia, she came at me with a machete, trying to hit me with it. Got out the way, of course, and then her and dad went outside. I was about to go out there with the AK. As my dad sped off with the car, I was about to shoot at the car, and my homeboy pushed my arm out the way, and I shot the ground. I knew it was getting bad, and I said I'm about to kill my dad and that damn girl over some $200 worth of work. That was crazy. So I had to leave. Abaya had called me and asked me if I wanted to go to the lakefront tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, why not? So she said meet her at the house at 10. So I was like, okay. So the next day I'm at Abaya's house at a little earlier before 10. Her parents was at work and I didn't have my gun on me. So as I'm sitting in the living room, waiting on her, she's in the bedroom, and I'm listening to some music playing in the background. I hear kids outside playing, so I go up, stand up to the window, look outside the window, see kids out there tossing footballs around and playing and whatever the case. I look back at Abaya's room. I'm like, Abaya, you ready? I'm ready to leave so I can go, to the lakefront. I don't like being in the neighborhood too much. As I turn around and look at Abaya's room, Abaya is standing there in the doorway with a gown on. I'm like, you're not going to the lakefront dressed in a gown. What's going on? She told me come here, and I did. She told me that she wanted me. We kissed. She pulled me in the room. I asked if this is what she wanted. She said yes. Take it easy, and we had H-Town playing in the background, and boy, one thing led to another, and I'm making love to her. We was actually making love for a nice, oh my goodness. She clenched me, I clenched her. We was holding each other tight. We was doing things, man. It was like a bliss, dreams. After we were done, we held each other and we cuddled, kissed, talked. Asked her if she wanted to go to the lakefront still. Told her I loved her. She kissed me. She rubbed her finger on my lip, said ditto. Well, we got cleaned up and I went outside and I sat on the porch and waited on her so we can go to the lakefront. Some kids, they playing football and throwing the ball around still. Um, Kicking soccer balls or whatever they were doing. I don't remember. One of the dudes I was selling dope with over there in their neighborhood saw me and he was riding a bike. He told me to get out the neighborhood. Abaya's mom came home. She said hi. I said hi to her, but I'm still baffled by the dude telling me to leave the neighborhood. I guess he rode around the block and on a bike. He came back and he's like, dude, leave the neighborhood. He said Ron is coming with his boys, and I was like, what? Yeah, right. Abaya stepped outside and we was ready to go. The boy threw the football back to me again. I threw it back to the boy, and then this little car came around the corner. It was like a Caprice, or I'll say it was a Nova, but I know it was a Caprice maybe. I don't remember. But it came around. I'll never forget the color. It was a rusty with a greenish look to it, and it had four people in it. The car sped up to the curb, and a buyer was standing by the porch, by the steps, and Ron jumped out the passenger side. At this moment, this is very emotional for me to say anything right now, but I gotta get this out of my system. Ron crept up with his hand behind his back, and he was looking at me in the vibe. He, if I can't have you, nobody else will. Then he started shooting. He shot her. I stood there froze. He pointed the gun at me, and it jammed. And then he jumped back in his car, and they sped off. I ran up by him. I held up by her in my arms. She's bleeding from her neck. Her mom came out screaming, hollering for the Lord.